Hey, scrappy people. Traci Reed here today, coming at you with a video of me decorating a mini album using the brand new Midnight Apothecary collection, available in the store, 40% off as we speak for Digital Scrapbooking Day. I have created a mini album base using somebody else's tutorial, which I will link in the description box below. So this is not meant to be a tutorial video. Instead, this is going to be a video of me making this mini album and decorating it. I'm using a mix of these 6x8 papers that I have printed from the Midnight Apothecary collection and some of the 4x6 patterned cards. Now you can see the base of this mini album is actually a manila folder. You can see the manila folders over on the left hand side there that I have painted with black paint. I wanted the album base to be black because the collection itself is very dark and moody, and then I have some of these flaps that are gonna end up being pockets just like so. I'm going to use a bunch of these papers and probably pull in some more for this page. So I'm gonna show you the finished product before I start decorating it. Again, if you want a full tutorial, go ahead and hit that link below, but this is how the album base came out. I have my photos printed. The photos are from Salem. We did a witch picks shoot while my mom and my sister and I were there, and it was great. So I have a bunch of these pockets to stick pictures in, and then some of them will just go directly onto the page as well. I'm going to back some of these photos with some patterned paper because they are a little bit floppy without any backing. So I actually turned the patterned paper around so that, like, if you happen to flip the photo over, you would see the pattern and the white part went with the photo because you wouldn't see that part anyway. But now I'm ready to decorate. This is the cover, and so I'm going to be using a gold doily and this trim, as well as some stickers. The titles and all of the illustrator bits, all of the icons are from the sticker set, but there's also a journal set of stickers that I will be using too. Now what you can see over there on the left hand side that you saw for just a second there is actually a printed sheet of washi from the Midnight Apothecary collection as well. I will link in the description box the tutorial, I think it's a video tutorial, of how to make your own washi strips from a digital collection. It is so handy to have. I think I'm just going to start creating a washi sheet like that one for every single one of my collections when I print them out, because I used it quite a bit throughout this whole album, and I think that it was well worth the 10 minutes it takes to make the washi sheet. So I have this card and spider web, and then it says a wee bit witchy, which is perfect for these witchy photos. And I'm going to add in some Cocoa Daisy. I have a bazillion and one Cocoa Daisy enamel dots. I'm going to add some stars and some purple enamel dots throughout the album. So I'm just pulling those out. And then some of these photo corners as well. These are from Cocoa Daisy 2. They came in several kits, so I have quite a few of them. And I like the sort of gothic vintage look that it adds to this page. Look at just what those photo corners added just by themselves. I thought it was perfect. I'm going to create some banners out of this washi tape for up in the top right hand corner, just to add a couple more pops of pattern. I apologize for my head getting in this video. I'm trying to come up with a different angle for my camera so that I'm not constantly sticking my head in the camera, because it is becoming a problem. So here is one. I haven't cut it into a banner yet, but I'm going to cut this one into a banner, and then I'll go back and cut the other one into a banner as well. But this gives me another place to add one more embellishment on top of the washi, and it's going to be a word bit, but I don't know which one yet, so I'm going to go through these journal bits. I pull out a couple that I can use, and then a couple that I know I want to use later. I like this something wicked, but I'm going to use it on a different page somewhere else. I need something else, I think. Let me pull that back out. And instead I'm going to go, oh, I'm gonna cut this off first. Goodness gracious. This is me realizing I hadn't snipped it into a banner. My head dancing all over the page. All over the page? All over the video. And I'm going to add in a couple of stars, and then I'll come back to this little top bit later if I decide to add a word bit. I do tuck a couple of cards and things in the pockets with my photos. A lot of times when you see people create videos on YouTube for like mini albums, they stick journaling cards in as filler, but since I am using actual photos for this mini album, I don't need filler, so I do add something else in there in the pocket with my photo, but I don't add a lot of extra stuff to the pockets, just a little bit here and there. And then I'm going to glue this on top of the washi tape, maybe. There we go. And then I really wanted to use the other part of this doily. I thought it looked so cool sticking out of the pocket like that. But really there was no way for me to do that after I had already glued the pocket down, because the liquid glue required would have gotten on the paper behind it. I could have, you know, put wax paper back there, but in the moment I just thought it was kind of too much of a pain in the butt to do that. So I add adhesive, then quickly second guess myself and go, oh wait, I can't do this unless I take apart this pocket, so forget it. Let's move on to the next page after I get this adhesive off of my table, or at least make it less sticky for the moment. And I'm not going to add too much to this photo. I do want to add something across the bottom, so I think I'm going to add a title, not these labels, they were a little bit too big. Simply Magical works. And then I'm going to add these photo corners to the photo as well. I don't add them to every photo, but a lot of the ones that are just stuck to the page get this photo corner treatment. Is for fun. I like it. But of course, it also involves pulling up the corners of these photos, which is kind of a little bit of a pain in the booty sometimes, especially when you don't get it on straight like this one. We can do it. There we go. Okay, much better. So we can put down this Simply Magical, but I want there to be something else, so I'm going to add a witch hat too, which I think works pretty well. I like to sort of interlock my embellishments often, so the witch hat is going to wrap around the title. Then I'm going to add in some more of these stars. These are actually light blue, but they read pretty white when you look at them, so they work for me. I'm going to put this littler tarot card looking embellishment in here instead. And then I'm going to use liquid glue, and I'm going to use this marabou sort of trim, and I'm going to make a feathery border around this journal bit. Oh, I guess not journal bit. It's like a label, Apothecary label. I decided once I got one layer down that it wasn't quite enough, so I end up doing 2 layers, which looked a lot better and fluffier. But this was kind of a hinky process, so it took a minute. As you can see, it looks really cute once it's all done. Very cute. I'm going to let it dry for a minute before I stick my photo back in and work on the next page. I like this "You look bewitching, my darling," but I didn't like the cauldron. But again, I like to wrap embellishments around each other, and that just looked perfect with the snake, so we're going to use that instead of the cauldron. And I'm going to put a flower behind it. I like incorporating all of the colors of the collection on each page, and there wasn't a lot of blue on this page. There's a little bit in the roses behind that tag, but nothing else. So I decided to use the blue rose, and that made a really perfect matte. And then I'm going to use this bat trim. It's like a glittery bat trim, and I'm going to put it behind the photo on the other side, just kind of like a banner. Add a little bit of glitter to the page or to the album. And then I'm going to add one more. Oh no, I'm going to add some journaling spots to the tag that is in the back. So that's going to be the part where I talk about why there are pictures of us in witchy outfits. And I'm going to use this journal block that says Magical Moments. And then I need to put something behind it because it looks a little bit weird by itself. I like that moth, but it didn't quite fit right. Pulling some word bits I might use later on the side. While I think about what I want to put behind that journal bit, I'm going to add some trim to the tags, and this trim is super bulky. I initially tie a bow, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to make it just a knot in a few minutes because it was too much. And then I like this blue potion bottle, but it didn't work well with the skull, so we're going to take the skull off, use the potion instead, and then add some of these stars that come on the sticker sheets. And I think that looks a lot better. See, now I'm going to make it a knot rather than a bow because it was just too much. Let's try this again. Even just the knot is a lot, so I don't know. I kind of am going back and forth on whether or not I like this trim in the tag or if I'm just going to use a regular string. I'm going to add the marabou style to this one, and I know I don't love them together. I don't know. I think I did both just to see what each one looked like. But it works for the moment. It'll work for the moment. We'll move on. I stuck that card back there, but I'm going to move it in a second. Well, not in a second, but I'm going to put it somewhere else. Enamel dots, and now I need to add a tab to the tab. And I'm going to use these 2 sentiments that are the exact same size from the sticker sheet as soon as I find it. And then I'm going to take some of that washi paper, the washi tape I created, and I'm going to cover the tab before I stick this down. No, we need something there. I'm going to cover the tab with a striped washi that matches the paper on the other side. And then I will stick down the tab. It takes me a second to get this aligned correctly, so I'm going to fast forward just for a second so you don't have to watch me fight with it. There we go. And then I'm going to adhere these back to back on the tab so that they create their own little tab on the tab. Perfect. I didn't bother with washi tape on the other side because I thought that looked fine, but that is this full spread done. Now flip it over and do the last 3 pockets. So this one is a pocket again, so I want to do something similar to what I did on the other side, but I'm not going to add that marabou trim. Instead, I'm going to add a 2-inch circle, and then I'm going to mat this word bit on the 2-inch circle. And again, it brings in some more of that stripe that is you can barely see behind the photo on the next page, just to make sure that everything looks well distributed and equal. Again, I'm going to use a gold doily as well to add some gold to this side of the album. And then I am going to eventually trim off the top of that goes over the photo because it gets a little bit roughed up and I don't want it to get completely torn off. So I will adjust that in a second. Making sure everything is nice and stuck down. Now I can work on this side. And I really like this Something Wicked This Way comes with this photo specifically where we looked shocked at what we're seeing in the crystal ball, or at least trying to look shocked. And I'm going to add some more washi underneath that bat because I think it needs a little bit more. So we're going to add a couple of washi banners like we added on the other side, and it will match that banner as well. The banner, the word banner that we already have down. I think I might have only added 1 washi strip because I didn't want to cover up the picture too much. It also adds some more red on that side from the red in the word bit. Then I need something on the bottom corner as well just to make sure it looks nice and balanced. So I'm going to add another piece of washi, this time green, to bring down the green from that top corner. And then I'm going to add one more thing. One of these half hexagons, and it says make your own magic. Trim off the outside. Perfect. I think we need some enamel dots. You can't go wrong with enamel stars or enamel dots, so we're going to add a couple there on this page as well. Perfect. And then I'm trying to decide if I need anything else on that page, but I decided I didn't. So we're going to work on the last page, and I'm going to take this skull trim and I'm going to put it over the belly band. I thought about adding the ribbon instead, but I like this black of the skull trim rather than adding the white skulls. Lends to more of that gothic vibe, I think. We're going to put the skeleton over the top because he's long and tall and will work perfectly there. And then this label that says "Welcome to the Midnight Apothecary." It's going to stick over the edge. And then underneath this belly band, I have this card that actually opens up and has 2 photos inside. But I need something for the top of the card. So I'm going to add my journaling card that's actually on the inside of the album. But you can see I'm looking for it because I couldn't find it. I thought maybe, oh, I'll use this one instead. But then I couldn't trim it down far enough. And then I realized in a second that it is inside the album. There we go. Took it out of the inside of the album. That is going to be perfect. I decided to mat it, but I'm going to mat it on a different paper than the one I pull out, mainly because I screwed up cutting that paper. So we're going to use this one instead, and it matches the belly band so perfect. I actually like the way that the red and the green interact in this collection. I don't think it looks Christmassy at all. I often avoid red and green together because I feel like it's always Christmas, but I don't think it looks very Christmassy in this collection, which made me happy because the way that they contrast, especially like in this instance, looks really good. I'm gonna add some of those photo corners to the mat for consistency. I didn't add them to the main photo that we just did because that photo basically took up the whole page, so I didn't want to add more to it, and I'm not going to add them on the inside here for the same reason. But I do need to add some embellishments to this so that I can finish it up and it looks cohesive and done and everything is embellished. Of course, you can't go wrong with spider webs for witchy Halloween photos, so I put spider webs in each corner, and then I'm going to use a skull here. I try to use that moon phases sticker so many times, but I just couldn't make it fit in this album. But I do need something that goes up there, so instead of a sticker, we're going to use a word bit that says Enchanted Moments, or Enchanted Memories, I believe. And I don't want to cover up too much of the photo, so I'm going to move it in a little bit more. And then, of course, enamel dots. And then that will be it, I believe, for this album. And we will look at the little flip through so that you can get a look at how all of this goes together. Of course, I need to trim off the rest of this skull first, skull border. Perfect. Okay, let's look at this all together now that it's done. So this is the cover, and it opens up. And then, of course, there are pockets everywhere, so you can take the pictures in and out, turn the pages. So cute. I love the way this came out. It's sitting on my shelf with the 2 12x12 pages I also did with these photos and the Midnight Apothecary collection, which you will be able to see tomorrow during the Midnight Apothecary YouTube hop, so don't miss that. It debuts at 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. I'm going to trim this off, like I said. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There's a link to the Midnight Apothecary collection in the description box below. And if you're new to hybrid printables, there is a free class linked in the description box as well that you might be interested in. All right, thank you.